Hi everybody, it's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and I'm here to give you a book review of my most recent paperback gothic, Dark Shadows. Now, this was a soap opera in, I believe, the 1960s. Copyright date on this one, let me get it for you, because you have to have that. December 1966. Okay, so this one was so much fun. We had all sorts of creepy things going on. Now, I'm going to do, I think, a podcast about my gothic fiction collection and what I look for and why I love them so much. But I just wanted to say that this Dark Shadow ones had it all. It had a heroine that I loved. It had a creepy sense of place. It had nothing really supernatural, but something very mysterious in it. If you remember the soap opera, this is Barnabas Collins, and he is a vampire. And this is Victoria Winters, and she is the governess. This book did not have Barnabas Collins in it. He was not introduced yet in this book. It was all Victoria all the time. And she had two love interests. And there will be spoilers, so get ready for this. So she decides to go to Collinsport, Maine, in order to find out a little bit about her birthright, because she was brought up in an orphanage, but every month $20 would come from postmarked Collinsport. And she never knew who sent it. And she never knew what it was about. And so she decides to take a job at the Collins Mansion as a governess/teacher to Wild Little David, Wild Little David is this little 8-year-old boy who is missing his mother and is misbehaving. But actually, he's not that bad. Not compared to what we've got going on today. He's really not. He's very smart. He does his lessons for her. It's a good thing. So in the house, we have Ernest, who is a musician. He's a violinist. Then we have Will. Will doesn't live in the house, but Will's an attorney, and he's the other love interest. And then we have Caroline, who's a teenager. And then we have Elizabeth, who is kind of the matriarch of the family, and she hasn't left the house. She hasn't left her house in 18 years since her husband left her. So I don't know what that's all about. Nobody knows what that's all about, why she's staying in the house. And we do have a mad woman, but she's not in the attic. She's in the cellar. Oh, mad woman in the cellar. So Victoria Winters goes to this creepy, rainy, darky, kind of spooky place, and at night she gets woken up to hear strange scratching noises in her room, and as if someone is, standing at the foot of her bed, but it's completely dark in there and everything. And then we find out that Ernest used to be married to a woman by the name of Elaine, who died in a car crash. And she was burned up in this car crash, and she was an artist, and he was really in love with her and everything. And then there was this other girl that came into Ernest's life after Elaine, and her name was Stephanie, and I think she was the governess also. No, she was a student of Ernest. She was a violin student. And Stephanie goes out for a walk one night and gets pushed off, or falls off of the cliffs into the sea. And so Ernest has had some bad luck, to say the least, with his love life. But Victoria, she is a good character. She's very spunky. She's staying with it. She chases David down into the cellar one day because he's running away from his lessons, and she gets bonked on the head. But she's okay after that. And then we find out that the reason that Elizabeth, the lady who hasn't left her house in 18 years, is always going into the cellar is because that's where they've kept disfigured Elaine. So Elaine survived the car accident, but she was so disfigured that they kept her in the cellar. And she wears a big veil on her face and everything like that. So she decides that she is going to kill Victoria. And we find all this out at the end. You know, you kind of see it coming because you're kind of like, well, who else could it be? Because everybody has an alibi at the time. So, and then he's very weird. Ernest is very weird about talking about Elaine and everything like that. So the author tried to give us a little bit of that Rebecca thing where you don't know if he really loved Elaine or if he was tortured by Elaine. You don't know. But I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And the only reason I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars is because I kind of wanted some Barnabas. I wanted a little bit of Barnabas, but I'm going to have to go on to ABE Books and get the second one. Maybe Barnabas is in the second one, because let me tell you, if you want some good Gothic, I mean, I've just told you the story, so you may not want to get this book at all, but if this was fun, this was creepy corridors and candlelight and who's doing what to whom, and it was super, super fun. So that's my book review for Dark Shadows. And please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here and listening to that. And I will check you later.